All right, guys, let's go ahead and finish up lesson 2 and read about the carbon cycle. All organisms contain carbon. Carbon is the building block. It's a capital C. It's one of the elements on the periodic table, just like oxygen is and nitrogen is. Some organisms, including humans, get carbon from food. Other organisms, such as plants, get carbon from the atmosphere or bodies of water. Carbon cycles through ecosystems like water, nitrogen, and oxygen do. It is used over and over again. Let's go ahead and highlight that. And that's going to be important. I think that there is a question on your study guide about this. So we will come back and take a look at this diagram here in just a moment, alrighty? All right, so we've got carbon in the soil. All organisms return carbon to the atmosphere as shown above. All organisms return carbon. Like nitrogen, carbon can enter the environment when organisms die and decompose. Decomposition is the breaking down of dead plants and organisms, of dead plants and animals. This process returns carbon compounds to the soil and releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Other organisms then use carbon dioxide, like the plants. Carbon is also found in fossil fuels, oil, natural gas. Carbon in the air. How do living things use the carbon dioxide that's in the air? Plants and other organisms make their own food through photosynthesis. They take in carbon dioxide and water to make sugars. When other organisms eat plants, they get carbon and energy. Carbon dioxide is a byproduct of the cellular processes that break down sugar to release energy. Carbon dioxide enters the atmosphere to be used again. The greenhouse effect. Carbon dioxide and other gases in the atmosphere absorb thermal energy from the sun. This keeps Earth warm. This process is called the greenhouse effect. How does a greenhouse effect help Earth? Life on Earth could not exist without the greenhouse effect. Let's go ahead and highlight that. That's important. As you can see in the figure below, some of this energy is reflected back into space, and some passes through Earth's atmosphere. Greenhouse gases in the atmosphere absorb thermal energy that reflect off Earth's surface. This greenhouse effect helps keep Earth from becoming too hot or too cold. How does a greenhouse effect harm Earth? While the greenhouse effect is necessary for life, a steady increase in the greenhouse gases can harm ecosystems. Let's go ahead and highlight that. For example, carbon is stored in fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas. When people burn fossil fuels to heat homes or power cars or to provide electricity, carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. The amount of carbon dioxide in the air has increased because of both natural and human activities. The more greenhouse gas released, the greater the gas layer becomes, and the more heat is absorbed. Kind of like what Venus does, right? A lot of greenhouse effect going on there. Alrighty, so let's take a look at this. So we start out here with our sun. The sun gives off solar radiation. We know that. Some of it is going to be reflected back out into space by Earth's atmosphere, but not all of it. Some of it is going to pass through the atmosphere and is absorbed by Earth's surface. Some heat is absorbed by the greenhouse, so then it goes like this. So some heat is absorbed by the greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Okay, so the sun comes in, absorbed on Earth's surface, bounces back up, and some of the heat is trapped in carbon dioxide and some of these greenhouse gases, and is leading to the overall warming of our planet. Okay, so let's come back up here. All right, go ahead and erase this. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop and do this. Circle the processes that return carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Cellular respiration does that. That is a byproduct. Decomposition does that. That is the breaking down of dead organisms and plants, and some of that carbon is going to go into the soil, but then some of it also is going to go into the air. And then combustion, and that is the burning of the fossil fuels down here, which is going to be our oil and our natural gas and our coal. Okay, that's going to be the burning. So that is going to be with our factories. That's what this picture is showing. So those are the ways that the carbon dioxide is being returned to the atmosphere. So let's take a look at how the carbon in the atmosphere is being used. Okay, so through photosynthesis, the plants are using that carbon dioxide that's in the air, that and water and sunlight to make its own food. Okay, so photosynthesis, plants, they use it in water as well as on land. Okay, so that is how the carbon dioxide is being used by the plants. Okay, so then what we've got going on here, let's go ahead and change our color here. So we have, that's how the carbon dioxide is being used, how it's being released back, cellular respiration. Okay, combustion and decomposition. Okay, so that's covered. Alrighty, so we have these carbon-based organisms, whether it be a plant or whether it be an animal, and it's being returned. The carbon is being returned, broken down by bacteria and going into the soil through decomposition. So through decomposition, the soil is receiving the nitrogen. Carbon, nitrogen also, right? The carbon, and over millions of years, these and extreme pressure, carbon is able to be converted to an oil and natural gas. That's what these products are: oil, coal, natural gas is a high carbon based product. Okay, so the animals, they're going to be returning some of that carbon dioxide to the atmosphere when they breathe out, but then also through decomposition and breaking down of that animal, of that cow, it's going to return the carbon dioxide to the soil. So round and round and round it goes. Cycle. Used over and over and over again. So for your study guide, you're going to see that which ones go through cycles. That's going to be water and nitrogen and oxygen. And we're going to learn in lesson 3 that there is a way that matter is cycled through an ecosystem that is not in a cycle. So fill out your outline notes for the carbon cycle. It's not very long, not very many. the carbon cycle, just 4 of those. Get those filled out, and we will get this checked soon. If you continue to scroll, you'll see here is the information that you need for your vocab assignment. Evaporation, condensation, precipitation goes with the water cycle. Nitrogen fixation goes with the nitrogen cycle. So then that ends lesson 2, and we will pick up lesson 3 next week.